Hi guys, it's been a while. Welcome to All Things Strange and Magical. I had a dream last night about the 3D, 4D, 5D idea, and I want to share it with you. So let's get going. So one, we all talk about how we are, so not 3D, and this is all the 4D realm, and we're expanding or accelerating or moving into 5D. And I suppose if that's true, then we should have evidence of it, right? Our life should look a little bit different than 3D. And what would we qualify as 3D? I would say it's basically shame, attack, blame, suffering, pain, anxiety, frustration, misery. Okay, trapped there. Life is happening to me. It's very much like that in 3D. And then we have what we call, I suppose, the transition zone of 4D for dimension. And if you're living there, I would suggest that you're going to have a few miracles, right? You're going to experience a lot of wonder and delight, and things will be less happening to you, but for you. Now, one of the things I've noticed is that that's not the case most of the time. People say they're having all this ascension, and then they're living in the storyline of 3D. So the dream last night was very specific about what the affliction is that keeps us locked into 3D despite our hopes and dreams and aspirations to move into a higher vibratory state. And that is Thanatos. And Thanatos is the god of death. He hangs out with doom, suffering. His twin brother is sleep. So if you're going to wake up, you can't be hanging out with your twin brother's sleep. And Thanatos is also known in Freudian psychology as the death wish or the death urge. And its counterpoint or the opposite is Eros, the life wish, the life urge, vitality, sexuality, growth, and expansion. That's why we're going to see my sister's garden in a minute in Northern Ontario, because I want to show you what Eros looks like on the ground. Now, I just had a few miracles happen to me. They've been happening spontaneously since January. So I'm going to qualify myself as I'm probably in what we would say is 4D. And like an example is this knee that had arthritis. I'm going to try to lift it, but I can't anyway. This knee is 3 years of osteoarthritis, and if I was to do a climb upstairs, or like I just climbed a 500-foot mountain a couple of days ago, I could very well expect to have to ice it, maybe see my acupuncturist, be limping, and have a big swollen knee. Now, it's completely not like that anymore. It's been pain-free, swollen-free, swelling-free for a few weeks since I did a sound healing on Zoom. I'll be talking more about that soon and what you can do as well. But it's not going to work if you're in 3D. That's the thing. That kind of miracle recovery healing doesn't happen if you are inhabiting the energetics of the 3D realm, where you're still thinking that you're a victim of, the Illuminati, the conspiracy, Monsanto, psyops, etc. If you're living your life in this kind of like me against the world and say, what do I stand for? Then you're not going to find those miracles coming to you. And another example of the difference between 3D and 4D. Okay, well, let's get back to Thanatos and then I'll tell you the difference. Thanatos wants to suppress you. It's that parasitic consciousness that feeds on humanity, and I believe that its overarching enchantment is the enchantment with death. The urge to self-destruct, self-sabotage, experience oblivion, to go counter to the measures of our own goodness and good outcomes is Thanatos, or Thanatos, however you pronounce it. And is that really who we are? And is that humanity? Or is that some kind of like parasitic invasion consciousness that has infested us, right? I think that's what it is. And so, it's just like in subliminal advertising years ago, they used to stick like skulls in the ice cubes and stuff, or, death symbols hidden in the cigarette ads. You've come a long way, baby, all the way to your deathbed, right? We do, because we're subconsciously seeing those symbols in the ads and subliminally or subconsciously seeing them, and we are drawn to them. We're actually drawn to that which causes us disease and harm, Thanatos. So the parasitic consciousness that would lock us into three-dimensional realm, where miracles don't happen, is giving us injections or doses of Thanatos. And what is the antidote? Because what good does it know? What good is it to talk about what gives us a hardship without talking about what gives us a positive spin? That's Eros. So I'm going to show you some Eros. But before I do, another example of 3D, 4D. 3D, you get caught up in shame, blame, and attack. You are caught up in soap opera level drama. And I just saw it go down in a Facebook group full of, four-dimensional beings, supposedly, and everybody's supposed to be on this ascension and rehab program for the soul. And then next thing you know, there's competing agendas. There's, basically a complete collapse of sort of the love and light, so to speak, and the underbelly and the shadow comes out, and nobody was right, nobody was wrong. And that's what happens when you get to my place. But if you're still in 3D, everyone's wrong or everyone's right, and you pick sides. But in 4D consciousness, which I catapulted to for some reason in 2011, and my own awakening, suddenly there's equanimity or equipoise, and you don't look at the world that way. Like Rumi says, beyond right doing and wrong doing as a field, I will meet you there. That doesn't mean bad things don't happen. You can't acknowledge them and want to make changes in the world. It means that you also are able to stay in sort of a, not a detachment like you're clinically detached, but a peaceful fence sitting kind of, like Shane's show on Bison on the Fence, an equipoise between the yes and the no, the right and the wrong. And with that sort of equipoise comes this, like, the universe has my back, the universe effing loves me, which is a great book by a woman named Sarah Aarey, A-E-A-R-E-Y, that reminds us that even in the middle of chaos, if we're willing to trust and see a half full cup, not a half empty one, which is called subjective well-being, that we can open ourselves and be available to Eros. And Eros is where the miracles happen. Eros is where we get the good shit, you know, physical healings. We get to be peaceful in the middle of chaos. Like when I saw that stuff go down in the Facebook group, I was like watching a movie at a drive-in theater in the old days where there's cars in front of you and a tinny speaker. It was way over there. I couldn't get caught up in it. So here's what Eros looks like, okay? I'm going to come down here to show you Eros in person. All right, beautiful. Isn't Eros beautiful? What do you mean it's beautiful? Don't we live in a fucked up world? Full of all kinds of bad things and evil and rottenness and suffering and conspiracy? Yeah, I'm sure we do. And we live in a beautiful world. And to be able to hold the beauty and the ugliness in one space within yourself is 4D. And when you can hold the beauty and the ugliness and the pain and the suffering with the joy and the delight within yourself, that balance, the tension of opposites. When that happens, that's 4D. And that's when miracles happen. That's when your body heals. That's when easy things happen. Like the knee was healed with a sound healing in one Zoom session with a woman. Should that happen? Not really. I'll be talking more about that healing in a few weeks because I'm waiting for the fourth of how many healings did she do? The fourth thing of 4 healings in one session to be resolved. Now, I just stepped on a thorn, okay? So there's a lesson. I'm in the middle of this beauty, and I stepped on a thorn. Does that make the beauty any less beautiful? No. That's what reality is like in 4D. That's a metaphor. Oh, I wanted to show you these purple guys, okay? Aren't they gorgeous? And this is a vegetable garden. I don't know all my veggies, but just so you know, this is full of life. Okay, look at the Eros. Look at the life force in these peas here, right? These are juicy peas. All right. I hope I made my point. I'm going to start coming on here once a week. Somebody asks me, why aren't you on more often? I come on when I have things to say, not just to make my mouth move. But I had that dream last night. If I didn't say it in the beginning, I forgot. This whole conversation is based on a dream about Thanatos and Eros that was given to me last night to help explain this upset that happened in the Facebook group I've been part of. Not my group, but I'm a part of it. And it makes sense now that the Thanatos urge pushed a lot of people's consciousness down into the conflict-ridden zone of 3D. And so you don't always stay in 4D permanently. You can bounce up and down like a yo-yo between densities, dimensions, whatever you want to call them. But when you feel subjectively the cup is half full and the thorn in your foot doesn't take away from the beauty and the Eros and the life force and the vitality that is here now on planet Earth, okay, more and more often, then you will, I guess, supposedly go up to 5D. Okay, guys, thanks for listening this long, and I'll be back soon with another talk about aliens, because I've been dreaming about alien spaceships lately and things in the sky and conversations with non-human entities. And I know, don't go there with me, I don't think that they're demons. I do believe that they are conscious beings from other realms and dimensions and maybe planets. The last thing I want to say is I think I'm going to do a little show here with some 4D people that I love and start doing some interviews, because it's not always that I have every bit of wisdom that there is. I know some people that are so full of life force and full of Eros and full of the beauty and wisdom that is embraced within the 4D consciousness, and I'd love to share those people's viewpoints with you as well. Thanks for listening. Ah, yes, all things strange, magical, and beautiful. One last look. That is dill. I believe that is dill. Thanks, guys. Mwah again.